And this place is a buck factory. I mean, they're coming in all times. And good deer, we got 150-inch deer. It's in an area with a lot of other good deer, but if you hold out, if you sit there all week, you're gonna have an opportunity at this buck. The funny thing about COVID, you know, us being a magazine side and with a website, you know, we saw tremendous growth in traffic. And it was kind of funny because when you went to the grocery stores, right, during COVID, there was shortages of everything from toilet paper to meats. And I remember going up to my freezer and just opening it up, and I got a freezer full of meat. Yes, it's all venison, elk, and other wild game animals, but there was no way I was gonna run out of meat. I mean, COVID could have lasted for an entire year and it wouldn't have mattered. And I think that became a realism for other individuals when, you know, now they want to get out there, they want to be healthier, they want a sustainable meat area to get meat, and it got a lot more people in the woods. And honestly, a crossbow is the perfect weapon for them because it's a close range, it's easy to do, the season's long, so you don't have to freeze during the cold, you can go during the warm weather, you can harvest an animal. I'm not going to say fairly easy, because if you don't know how to hunt, it's probably going to take you some trial and error. But even for me, hunting with a crossbow is a learning curve, right? I don't really know how the whitetails react. I know what they're going to do with my compound. I know how quiet my compound is. I know what range they normally react to a shot, what range after they're further out that they don't react at all to a shot. I know that with a compound. I don't know that with a crossbow. On this hunt, we're headed down to Texas. We're hunting with an outfitter. It's an industry hunt hosted by Barnett Crossbows. And it's my first crossbow hunt in Texas. So I really don't know what to expect. You know, I've shot crossbows, but I've never really hunted with them. I always pick a compound for whatever reason. So I'm kind of excited to get out there and give it a whirl. It felt great to be on the road again, because this is the first hunt with COVID. You know, COVID's just coming over. So it's the first time back in the road and get to do stuff, and it's nice to be able to travel again. Whenever you're doing an industry hunt, it's nice to be on that because you're gonna get to know some of the other behind the scenes guys. You know, like I know the marketing people, I know the president, but I didn't know a lot of the people, the engineers and some of the other people. So you get to meet all those individuals. And then the other thing is it's hands-on. You know, they're telling you a little bit of inside information on those products. We're hunting with the new Barnett, and it was extremely fast, and you get it dialed in, and they already had pre-sighted the crossbows in, so literally your first shot, and literally you could have hit a dime at 30 yards. I'm like, wow, this thing is amazing. If you've never hunted Texas before, it's a different breed of hunting, right? You're normally over a feeder or water, and when the feeders go off, normally the deer rush in, is kind of what I'm expecting. Because we've hunted axis deer in Texas, and that's in the spring, and I've seen how whitetails do react. I guess I should have been paying more attention to those whitetails because I really wasn't hunting them, so I wasn't trying to age them or do any of that stuff, and that came to bite me in Texas. So once we knew the crossbows were all dialed in, it was time to get out in the blinds in Texas.
Modern Hunter is brought to you by
And why I say it came to bite me is because the very first set, the outfitter had told us, hey, it's 8 points or better, but if not, make sure you shoot a mature deer. And the very first deer we see is in the back, and here he comes, and he looked really wide. Dude, if that's not a shooter, I'll my pants. You know, and he swings around, he goes out of the distance, and he comes walking right down past the blind at probably less than 20 yards. And now the debate's set, and you're sitting in your mind, is he a shooter, isn't he a shooter? He's truly only a 7-point, but he's real wide. His body to me didn't look that big, and man, I was struggling getting older than 3. You know, me being the Midwest boy, you know, he looked like a 3-year-old from back home, and he put in, you know, he went to the feeder and he's eating and he's there forever, and the camera guy is like, I think he's pretty big, and I'm like, you know, I just didn't want to make a mistake. I didn't want to be that guy in camp to shoot the wrong buck. And the deer hangs there probably for 15, 20 minutes. We could have shot him multiple times. He walks out of the picture, and I swear, almost instantly, here comes another buck. And I was like, oh, there's a nice little 1.5-year-old. And shortly thereafter, another buck came in, and this one was even smaller. And now thinking about it, you know, the first one was probably a 1.5-year-old, or a 2-year-old, and the second one's a 1.5-year-old, and they were tiny in comparison to that first buck. So, yeah, and that's literally all we saw that day. We saw some other does and some other stuff, but the guide picks me up, and I said, I saw a dang big 7-pointer, and he goes, oh, I should have told you there's a real mature deer we've been trying to kill in this area, and there's a big mature 7-point. There you go, I just let him go. What a way to start the hunt. Well, driving back to the lodge, the guide tells me, he goes, hey, I got another spot for you. He goes, now that I know you'll hold out, he goes, we got a 150-inch deer. It's in an area with a lot of other good deer, but if you hold out, if you sit there all week, you're gonna have an opportunity at this buck. Listen to that. You know, this is the new Banish silencer from Silencer Central. And silencers are the rage right now. What a silencer is going to do is, yes, it definitely cuts down on the noise, right? So it might give you that extra shot. But I really like it is the recovery, right? It eats a lot of that recoil up because how that gas escapes the silencer, it eats the recoil, which gives you the opportunity to find that sight picture much, much quicker. So I think it's gonna give you that follow-up shot, and the animal, if it's downrange 200 yards, they really can't pinpoint the sound with a silencer like they would with a normal velocity bullet. So there's a lot of advantages to it. The big thing is right now, so many people are afraid of them, right? Because you hear about the process and how long it takes and everything else. And if you are familiar with Silencer Central, they have really made the process super easy. So once you decide on what caliber you're gonna get for your gun, right? Because they got all different sizes, whatever gun you're gonna have on, they have the silencer for you. And once you commit to it and you purchase it, they actually do the paperwork for you. And I don't mean for you physically, they're gonna send it to you in stages. So you're gonna fill out the proper form for the ATF. They're gonna send you the fingerprinting information that you need. And you're not sending that stuff directly to the ATF, you're sending it back to Silencer Central. And literally, they walk you through the whole stages, and then they're gonna submit it for you. But they're actually gonna set up that trust as well for you. And they're doing this all for the same price that you can buy a silencer any place for. It's not like they're gouging you or they're charging you extra for it. It's part of the service, and that's what makes Silencer Central so unique in the silencer world. And they have their own, you know, silencers, which are the Banish series, which are a great series. But say you want somebody else's, they also sell other silencers. So you can get any silencer you want. I don't know why you wouldn't pick a Banish, because it's a great silencer. This one is on a 6.5 Creedmoor, which is the 30 caliber, but we've got them on our 223s. You know, we're putting them on multiple other guns. The beauty, like I said, is recoil reduction. It's going to give that ability to find that animal sooner after you take a shot, because you're not eating that recoil, and you can recover so much quicker. So not only is the sound of the animal, but it's that recovery factor that's going to make the difference. Check out Silencer Central. They have a full line for every caliber possible. SilencerCentral.com.
This segment of Modern Hunter is brought to you by Mystery Ranch, built for the mission.
All land will grow old and all land holding on to your hand underneath the sunshine. I just wanna stay here with you. It's all I want to do. Walking in the blue sky. There's plenty of places we wanted to go. There's beautiful mountains and oceans of blue. Walking in the blue sky.
Well, driving back to the lodge, the guide tells me, he goes, hey, I got another spot for you. He goes, now that I know you'll hold out, he goes, we got 150-inch deer. It's in an area with a lot of other good deer, but if you hold out, if you sit there all week, you're gonna have an opportunity at this buck. Now, we sat there for 3-4 days in a row, and this place is the buck factory. I mean, they're coming in all times, and good deer, 8 points, 9 points, and everyone you'd see, like, they look big, right? But they weren't the picture that they showed me. And I remember thinking, boy, when I see a 150 on this Texas deer, because their bodies are so much smaller than our Midwest deer, he's gonna look like a true giant. And boy, sure enough, you look up and it's like, oh my God, here he comes. And this thing looked like an absolute stud. He's coming in, but the wind, it's kind of weird, like deer had come through, but the wind was swirling and it was pretty strong. And he was coming right in super easy. It looked like he was gonna swing right through and give us a 20-yard shot. And he hit about a 30 yards, quarter and two, and man, he knew something was up. And I don't know, he was looking at the blind, so I don't know if he saw movement, I don't know if he smelled us, but literally something went wrong. And you know, I'm pretty good about reading body language, and you know, your heart just starts sinking. It's like, oh my God, I waited all week for this deer, and now he is gonna get away, right? So we're sitting there, and now he gets to the back of the feeder, and he's like angling, and I got my laser out, and I'm trying to figure out an exact distance. I'm like, man, he's only 42 yards away. I can shoot him right there. Yeah. Good shot. Man, cat and mouse, I don't know what he smelled. We've sat here for, what, 4 or 5 sits waiting for that deer. They moved us in one morning too late. He was here the morning before. We've sat here, saw some good deer pass, some really good bucks. He came in and he just did not want to commit, and he was spooky, and he actually snorted. And there's another 9 and 3-year-old 9. That deer's a stud, just a stud. I think I hit him good. It looked good. I don't know.
Modern Hunter is brought to you by
Hey guys, here's one of my must-have items, and it sounds stupid. It's the peat shoe dryer, right? I've had one for years, literally probably the last 15, 20 years. And what I love about it is I'm one of those guys that likes to put on warm boots in the morning when you go out, but literally my feet sweat very, very bad, and I wear rubber boots all the time. So if I didn't have this, I'm gonna always have that moisture, and moisture is what kills your feet in the cold, right? If your feet are damp a little bit, they're gonna get cold extremely fast. This is a way to eliminate that. But what I found out is I just don't use it for my boots anymore. I use it for my backpack. If it rains and your backpack's extremely wet, I just put that over the top. It blows that warm air up. It's gonna totally take all the moisture out of there, dries out my backpack, but we use it for gloves. I've already hung shirts on it. You name it, we use it all the time throughout the entire season. I actually take the portable along, you know, on my extended trips. Peat has evolved as well, so now it just doesn't warm your clothes or warm your shoes. You can use ozone. Literally, it's as simple as pulling your unit apart, putting that ozone unit on, and literally putting your shoes back on, turning on the ozone. It's going to kill all bacteria, and therefore eliminates sand. So it's taken that one step further. It's going to let you stand a longer time and hopefully be more successful. If you want more information, check out peatdryer.com. So I was right on the back side here, and he ran right down that trail. Right here. He was right in the clearing, and he ran right down the trail. So we watched the footage. It looks like I hit him high. I think he dropped a little bit. Could be in no man's land. We can't find a bolt right now. It's getting dark, so we'll have to come back in the morning. But you know, these crossbows are so fast, you just can't see the knock and where it hits him exactly. And he did drop a little bit. I think because he was spooky, I should have took that into effect. I should have aimed lower. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. You know, we called it in, we looked for blood that night. We went back the next day, didn't hunt again, looked for blood, didn't find any blood, circled. I mean, we looked for probably a half a day and didn't find one amount of sign. And I knew, you know, after looking at the footage, that deer was no worse for wear. He was gonna be back at that feeder, you know, sometime in the future. Just a week after being on that hunt, I get a text from the outfitter and boom, there's that buck. He's coming back to the feeder, no worse for wear. And it was good. I mean, it just makes you feel good that the deer's alive. I still felt sick inside that I made the mistake. Had I, you know, been more comfortable with the crossbow, I would have shaved off the distance just like I would have with my compound. I would have aimed for the lower part of the heart. I would have shot and I would have double lunged that deer. As a hunter, you owe it to yourself, especially if you're new to the game. You know, use the resources out there. You have the NBF, which is National Bow Hunters Education Foundation. You have magazines like Deer and Deer Hunting. We're not about hero worship. We're about really educating the hunter on whitetails, how, you know, what makes that whitetail react, the biological information. It's going to give you the insight of really what makes a deer tick. And then take that experience, what you learn from those resources, and get out in the field. And before you even try to harvest anything, watch how the whitetails react in their normal environment. I didn't realize this when I was a gun hunter, you know, because us as gun hunters, we think we know everything. And when I turned into a bow hunter, I remember watching how the deer reacted without any kind of pressure. And they reacted totally different. And the relaxation, and you see how their interaction, it's going to make you a better hunter in the long run. And anytime you can be a better hunter, you owe it to the animal and yourself to be the best you can. I hope we never have to social distance again, because honestly, it was unpleasant. But if you do have to social distance, what other better spot can you be than in a deer woods 20 feet up in the tree?